The local government summit was held this week in Midrand in Johannesburg, focusing on the state of municipalities and service delivery across the country. The Auditor-General, Tsakani Maluleke, warning that most municipalities remain in financial distress with billions lost to irregular expenditure and weak governance. The Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs Minister, Velenkosini Hlabisa, echoing those concerns, calling for a shift from compliance on paper to real accountability. Well, let's have this conversation then. I'm joined by the Minister, Minister Velenkosini Hlabisa, local governance expert, Dr. Harlan Cloete, but we also have a number of community leaders. So let me run you through them. Tshirundu Cedric from Tembisa Ward 111, Melissa Davis from Westbury Ward 69, Phikolomzi Adonis, Ward 11, King Sabata Dalindyebo Municipality in the Eastern Cape, as well as Abie from Ward 76 in Cape Town. We'll get to the community leaders and activists in a moment, but I want to get the reflections of Minister Hlabisa first. Minister, you had this local government summit, and people at the forefront of service delivery issues are probably thinking yet another summit to do what exactly? So I imagine you grappled with the state of local government at that summit. How do you assess the state of local government at this point in 2025?
Good afternoon, Thulasizwe, and the leaders of the communities in the platform and the people of South Africa watching SABC. The engagement over the past 2 days was a freshening moment to actually engage face-to-face with mayors, speakers, practitioners in the local government space, other than talking in the platform like this one or over a telephone line when people are complaining. It was refreshing to understand our readiness in terms of turning the corner in changing the state of our local governance, because we came out with a common view that politicization of the local government should be brought to an end as a matter of urgency, and professionalization of staff. People must be employed on the basis of merit with proper qualifications in order to be accountable in terms of the money that is available, because sometimes money arrives to the municipality, they can't spend it because of poor capacity, and it goes back to the national treasury. We want to bring to an end such things. And when the Auditor-General have raised issues, the municipalities must address those issues other than waiting until August, just a few days before the submissions.
All right, so let me do a quick round through the community activists that we have. Cedric is in studio, as well as Melissa Davis. So let me start with you, Cedric. Just introduce yourself and tell us how this conversation about the state of local government and some of what was heard coming out of the local government summit earlier on this week sits at the coalface where you live in your community.
Thank you very much, Thulasizwe and viewers. My name is Cedric. I'm from the community of Ebony Park under Ward 111. Honestly with you, life is tough, especially to our community. You can't live without water. You know, we can listen lot of reasons that they are bringing to the community, but they are not bringing the water, which is the people are suffering now just because there's no water at all. They will bring water around, let's say, 12 o'clock and close water around 4 o'clock during the week. You know, people, they have to go to work. Children, they have to go to school. Now, they have to wake up around 4 o'clock or from 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock so that they can get bath and prepare to go to their work or schools, which is very tough to the people. Water is life. We can't live without water. We are having the houses there, the bond houses. How can we flush with the buckets?
Yeah.
They are still delivering water. Well, actually, they are pushing the business of the trucks to come to our community to deliver water. They don't push the issue of the water to flow normally, so that the people, they can pay the bills if the water are flowing. But it's very much difficult. These people are not coming to us to engage. They are coming with different stories that people, they end up confusing.
Yeah.
Yes, we as people, we understand sometimes we are dishonest somehow, especially with the issue of payment. But they must come to us and show us, when they talk about the leaking part, that they said, okay, in your house there's a leaking.
Yeah.
Where's that leaking?
Yeah.
You can't tell me.
So presence on the ground, grappling with the issues.
How they saw that water that is under the ground?
Yeah.
They must come. When you call them, but they don't want to come.
Melissa, we saw your community up in arms quite recently. I mean, that dissatisfaction and discontent was quite visible. So what are the issues that you're grappling with? And what is your sense of the local municipality, in your case, the city of Joburg's ability to deal with those issues?
Good afternoon, Sizwe, to you and the viewers and the minister as well. You know, I am so disgusted by the way the municipality is run. For example, in our ward, Ward 69, Coronationville, Westbury and surrounding areas, we don't have a visible councillor. There is no accountability for that councillor that is not available to the community. I mean, we send out requests for assistance. We do all of that. We get blocked by the ward councillor. We go to the speaker, we go to the mayor's office. We just don't get any response. They said policy does not allow her to get removed. So does that mean when we have an incompetent councillor, we have to sit with that incompetency for 5 years because there's no education around how policies work to our communities? You've seen us go to the street peacefully, and we have pleaded because we need water. Water is a basic human right, but we were caught with bullets, and there was no one to vent for us. I mean, my colleague next to me is from Ebony Park. They had the same issue, went to the street, protested. They had police there, but they weren't shot at. We had 81-year-olds that were shot at. We look at our infrastructure, age infrastructure, that is not being maintained. We have leak pipes in our communities. We report it, Joburg Water never attends. Nobody ever attends to those leakage. And we have water meters that is running, but there's no water. So we are basically being billed for air. So what are we saying to our residents? Are we saying that it is okay just to be silent? It is okay to just be unruly and then you get answers? And when we pose our frustration to these officials and the mayoral committee, they then threaten us and say, listen, if you guys are not going to calm down, we're going to leave here. So you are basically telling us that we are all left by ourselves. We are really disheartened by the way things are going in local government.
Let's pause there for a moment. Let me bring in Dr. Harlan Cloete before we hear from the other community representatives. Dr. Cloete, I imagine that from the inputs of the two community leaders that we've heard from thus far, the themes are all too familiar, aren't they? If the work of local government is, I would say, quite easy to define in terms of delivering at the coalface of where people live, delivering on such things as water, at that level, electricity provision at that level, roads, potholes, refuse removal, sewage systems and the likes. Why is it that we continue perennially to be faced with the kind of issues that these two activists who have spoken thus far are highlighting once again?
Okay, good afternoon to us, good afternoon, Minister, and the panel. When I listen to Cedric and Hlabisa, it is so clear that we've got unresponsive local government. I think what they've talked about is the definition of locality, of like a poikie. It's got three legs: the administration, the politicians, and community. And these three will have work hand in glove. But what we often see is that we've got a weak management also. And so it's a combination of factors that make local government to work or not to work. And so if we have got a functional ward committee, for example, that's the leg of participatory democracy where people have a say in government. What Melissa and Cedric articulated so well is is that local government or the leadership at local government are totally unresponsive. In some instances, this leadership has gone down to being toxic and just having a don't care attitude. There's a sense that I get, even from our research, that there's a lack of urgency in terms of tackling these issues with communities. And that was what developmental local government was all about. Leaders working with communities to find sustainable ways to solve their challenges in community. And one hopes that the reset or the white paper review currently spearheaded by the minister will set in place, resetting local government to become more responsive. All too often in our research and dealing with communities, they say the only time local government listens is when they see the smoke. I ask, what is the smoke? It's when they protest, then we have a response from local government, which in most cases is reactive instead of being proactive.
All right, let me bring in Phikolomzi Adonis from King Sabata Dalindyebo Municipality. Just your perspective then, from your vantage point, what are the most pressing issues at local government that need to be addressed?
Thank you, Tulas. It's the same song, Tulas, from all the municipalities. Where I am, Tulas, you'll find that a skip container for refuse collection has only been taken 2 times this year. I'm in a suburban area. And then we had to ban the trash. My take when I told us, it's more beyond potholes and the refuse collection. It's the issue of systems and incompetence. You can find out in my ward, I've been requesting in a community meeting, what budget do we have as the ward? So that whenever we are planning for the development of the ward, we plan within the framework of the budget. No one can come up and answer about that. The budgets are centralized, and in a municipality of KSD, you have around 37 wards. In those 37 wards, only about 8 wards that are urban that have to pay tax. And then you get around 10% of equitable share from the local government to subsidize rural wards, which are almost 27 in my municipality. How do you then expect that money to serve all the communities with less people who pay tax? So it's the way it's systematic and it's incompetence. That's why we find our problems. In the streets where they are going to be fixing water, they just leave the roads without being fixed, almost 2 to 3 years. I'm not talking about the potholes in the streets where in my ward I'm in. So it's a matter of competence and systems that are not being in place and people that seems to be clueless about what they are doing.
Abie Isaacs in Cape Town, let me bring you into the conversation as well. Yours is one of those municipalities that consistently, in terms of the reporting of the Auditor-General, will suggest that at least on paper is well governed. But what is the actual lived reality? The government of that city will foreground and say that it spends more on the poor in poor communities than anywhere else. What does that look like for you as your lived reality where you are in Ward 76?
Good afternoon to you, your viewers, and good afternoon to the Minister. I think from our perspective and from me in particular as a resident, the notion that yes, everything is on paper, but however the harsh reality say something different. And one can quickly start citing some of the examples. Poor lighting. It takes ages for lights to be repaired in this environment. And we hold the view that poor lighting is a contributing factor towards crime. That's one of the elements. I think the other issue or challenge that we face within our community is the issue around the water meters. And not specifically the water meters, is the additional charges to water meters that has been put, specifically from the city of Cape Town. For an example, there's seniors out there that resides within our wards that even cannot afford to pay a basic municipal account, which is the basic municipal account. Their water is cut off, And then they have to go to the city of Cape Town with the necessary documents, for an example, necessary documents in order for them to be put, we call it, on a legal system.
So let me come back to you, Minister, then, having done this run through the initial opening thoughts of the community leaders in our mini Imbizo that we are having this afternoon. Let me come back to you and say, listening to them, the issue of water seems to be a constant thread that runs through these issues that are being raised. But I also picked up the issue around responsiveness of local leadership. I then have to wonder what themes came to the fore for you, and how do they compare with the themes that were coming through at the local government summit? For example, responsiveness by local councillors, to what end, if they themselves would potentially have no wherewithal to change the immediate situation of the communities in which they live?
Thank you very much, Tulas, and all the activists in the platform. I completely agree with the sentiments they are expressing. One major thing that was clear during the summit was that we all carry a responsibility to be champions of the ideal municipality. Municipality that delivers basic services, water, ensure there is no sewage running down the street, potholes are fixed on time. Indeed, our councillors, our mayors, and all political leaders must be the one who come first to the public when there is a challenge. When there is no water, they should not wait until people protest, until they respond. They should be in the forefront because they live with the communities. They should be the one who take the communities in confidence long in advance when there will be the cutting off of water for certain hours or on certain days. I'm looking forward to a turning point in the local government space in terms of how we respond. We are not going to wait for the review of the white paper, which is going to take us a long way in terms of the funding model, because some of the pipes are too old in cities like Johannesburg, and they need a huge money to fix them. But we are not going to wait for that time. Our municipalities need to look at the current budgets they have and prioritize key issues. Water is key for everyone. A living environment that is healthy, no sewage running down the street, no leakages of water. Our municipalities should prioritize that a leakage should be attended as a matter of urgency, because you lose a lot of water through leakages if they remain unattended. Indeed, I can't say more than saying I fully agree with our people, because we know their outcry and they are not exaggerating. They are talking of real issues which must be the priority for all our municipalities. That is the message we gave to our political leaders when we depart in Johannesburg.
Harlan Cloete, let me bring you back in. Is this an issue of the system as a whole, the local government system as a whole, and the sustainability thereof? For instance, Michael Evans, an attorney at Weber Wenzel, recently looked at this issue, talking about 256 municipalities in the country. Only 13% of them achieved a clean audit. And in fact, National Treasury says only 34% are regarded by National Treasury as not being in financial distress. Do we have too many municipalities at multiple tiers, such that if the model of local government is that it should largely run on revenue that it generates to deliver services, we're simply never going to achieve that with the kind of spread that we have and the revenue bases that various municipalities have?
Look, if you check where we come from about 800 plus municipalities. So this current system of local government but we've amalgamated a lot of municipalities. In some instances, there was a lot, so we've narrowed them down from 800 plus to 257. And there is talks of even narrowing them more down and amalgamating even more municipalities to ensure that citizens get this value for money. Because, people are asking, am I getting value for money? Just like when I go to a shop. And so the democracy dividend, people are calling that into question. People want, democracy for me starts at the door of the local municipality. And if municipalities fail communities, it trickles down. Government is failing. And so I think what is needed to us, and with the minister in the room as well, I think we need a war room of the 44 districts so that we can pinpoint where are the problems. In many of these municipalities, yes, it is infrastructure, but the previous Auditor-General, Tembisa Ward, says we have the wrong hands at the till. So you need very good politicians that can ask the right questions in terms of oversight. Then to make a municipality functional, managers need to be managing managers. Because that is what the Auditor-General is saying, that we've got a problem with consequence management. So that means managers are not managing managers. And so people are doing wrong, but there's no consequence. If you take the province of the Free State, not a single municipality for the last decade have received a clean audit, cannot properly account for its finances. Yet we've got the districts there, yet we've got the provinces that do oversight, yet we've got national. So somewhere, something is wrong. And a lot of time has got to do with political will to tackle these issues. And so we need a science, evidence-based approach to municipalities. Go into a war room, say, here's the 44 districts. What is it? Where are they wrong? And how do we pinpoint intervention instead of a spray and pray approach? We speak to the masses, hoping that it will come right. But at the end, people return to the office on Monday and they continue with this toxic behavior of using municipalities instead of looting these institutions to their personal benefit. And that is wrong.
Let me bring it back to studio. Melissa, just from your understanding of your problems and issues in your community, what is your sense? What's lacking? Is it political will, or is it the technocratic and technical capacity at the administrative level? You live in a city where, in terms of service delivery, it's organized in the sense of entities that have CEOs, general managers, their own structures of governance. Is it that's weak, or is it political will?
I would say it's both, because we don't have one political party that's running the municipality. There's no accountability. I always say, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And that is exactly what the municipality is doing. I mean, we have 2 dilapidated buildings within our community. You know that our community is known for gangsterism and shootings, killings on a daily basis. I mean, how many times have we not asked for assistance for those buildings to be broken down? They always tell us, you need to go to this one, that one sends you. So you basically get sent to from pillar to post. We as a community is left all by ourselves. If we go to the street lights, our place is basically the criminals' playground, because the minute it hits 6 o'clock, the bullets goes down. And where do they run to? To those buildings. We have 2 just in Coronationville to mention, and nothing gets done. When you go to the speaker's office, they will tell you a different story, the mayor will tell you a different story, and it almost feels like they get frustrated with you because there is no accountability. Remember, the people that's responsible is not kept accountable, and without accountability, there will be no progress.
Sure. Cedric, weigh in on that. No accountability, no progress, says Melissa. Who is supposed to be exercising this accountability and not exercising it? To take it a bit further, there's a view that says you, the residents, are supposed to exercise this accountability, and by voting in the way that you do, it means you endorse what's happening.
Thank you, Tule. It's funny, we are living on this world where everything, they are politicizing each and everything. And then people, they end up getting lost. They are misled. We have some grannies that they don't understand anything about politics. Now you are coming with those language of politics to them. whatever, those languages that they don't understand at all. We know as a community what to do. There are some of the people. If as a councillor you're not taking your responsibility, you must understand that when you're a councillor for the whole community. You are not a councillor for a certain organization. That's the problem that we have. Just because when they enter, they politicize each and everything. They are not going to the community. They are going to their own group or their own organization. When they call their meeting, it's all about their organization, not the community. When they came with lies, empty promises. You can even see that this person, honest with it, she don't understand or he don't understand, or I am the councillor. Imagine for the whole 5 years in counseling, you don't know your community. You're just known by only your political and organization member. I mean, it's unfair. You know, even to us, we have to take responsibility. When we elect, we must know the person first.
Yeah.
We can't just choose just because this person is saving money or maybe saving a good material that can, you just have to praise him.
Yeah.
That's the way we are killing ourselves. There are a lot of people that can lead. From the top, I believe it's where things are happening there. Here they are lying down at the floor, they are lying to us. But if they can fix there on top and stop politicizing each and everything, I think maybe things is going to change. For now, on my side, I'm happy to be on GNU. Just because if we were not, I'm telling you, today our country is supposed to be somewhere.
Yeah.
The politics, they must stop threatening the people when they are coming with the ideas. When they are coming to say, okay, this is our problems. We are raising our problem all the ways, but no one is listening to us.
Yeah.
But we have the what committee that they have to support the councillor. But they are not doing that. Imagine they are just sitting there getting paid for that 1,000. But who's monitoring those people?
Yeah, yeah. Phikolomzi Adonis, let me bring you into this conversation. And I suppose I should have thrown this question about accountability to you, because I do see it raised almost stereotypically in the context of your province. Talk to me about it. What's your thinking about ultimate accountability for the failures? Are we at the moment where communities are grappling with that and coming to terms with it, that actually we might have to be the ones to exercise ultimate accountability on these public representatives?
Look, Tulas, the concept of municipalities, if you read the history, was never about political parties and politicians. The concept of municipalities were about the people themselves, organizing themselves and making sure that services, if they are not within the communities, they are out there and working for their kids are at school. There must be people within the communities who are taking care of the services. But then when we politicize this issue and we centralize the system of service into a council, then that's where problem started. Now people are waiting and folding their arms, waiting for a councillor, a ward committee who does not even recognize the needs of the ward, which a ward can consist of around 5,000 citizens and above. So my response to the accountability issue is that let's bring back the responsibility of municipalities and services and decentralizing it to the people themselves. Like the functions of grass cutting, why do you have to wait for 3 months for a tender? The issue of collecting refuse and other simple things were not told us. So my response is that if the white paper that the minister is talking about does not address the issue of systematic responsibility of the citizens, because these ward committees are just volunteers of the ANC who are just campaigning. Now when they come into the fore, they are just given monies without knowing particular responsibility of the municipality. So that is where my problem is, that start to decentralize services. Communities must be organized in councils. Communities, they have all professions. Your ward, you have doctors, you have lawyers, you have many types of professionals, and which then they can make their ward run perfectly if they are involved in the issue of making sure that their services are brought perfectly. by
All
the
right.
municipality.
Let's wrap it up with you, Minister Hlabisa. Having heard everything you've heard in this discussion in our mini Imbizo on the airwaves, and having heard everything you heard at the local government summit and your own thinking over the last while about what's broken in local government and how to fix it, 1 or 2 or 3 immediate tasks that you can highlight for us and say these will be undertaken with a sense of urgency, because I think I heard one of the speakers this afternoon talking about a sense of urgency. Just a few, 3 thereabouts. What will we immediately start seeing starting to change in the way that local government is run, including the systemic issues that we were talking about earlier on?
The systemic issues, Thulasizwe, will be correctly and rightly addressed immediately after March 2026, when we table the final document on the white paper review on local government. But the urgent issues, accountability and consequence management, that was a clear message we communicated yesterday, and this is what we're going to follow, because if things remain as normal, they will continue as normal. So now, consequence management and accountability, when a post is advertised, it must recruit a person who is fit for purpose, and the ideal municipality should be what every municipality must think and do: provide basic services as a matter of urgency. Water, keep our communities under clean environment. When there is a leakage, fix it within 24 hours if you can't do it before that.
All right, let's leave it there for this afternoon. I've got to thank all of my guests for having joined us, putting local government under the spotlight in the wake of the local government summit, which was held a bit earlier on in the week in Midrand in Johannesburg.